Hi guys, I have over 500,000 lumens in front of me right now. These are the 5 brightest flashlights that you can buy. Now, on the surface of it, all of these are very similar. They're all extremely high-powered, actively cooled flashlights, meaning each one has a fan that prevents it from overheating when you're using it. However, as similar as they look, I think there's something special and unique about each one of these. So I'm gonna do some detailed testing and compare them for you. Now, let's introduce these chronologically by release date. This is the Imlant MS-18. This one released in 2019 and comes out to 100,000 lumens. Here is low mode and turbo. See the fans kicking up on that guy? This thing is amazing. This is the MS-12 Mini. As you can see, this one is way smaller. It came out a couple of years later, but is still extremely bright at 65,000 lumens. So you can see this one is a little bit floodier, but it still lights up absolutely everything. And also gets super, super hot in my hand. This is the AceBeam X75. It released actually shortly after the MS-12 Mini. This one has the extended battery pack and is coming in at 80,000 lumens. As you can see, still incredibly impressive, actually quite similar to that last one. This thing is just absurd. Even this guy hits those mountains out there. Awesome. Fan keeps running to keep the light from overheating. Really good thermal design on this guy. This is the Imlant SR32. This came out in 2023, and in the year it came out was the new world's brightest flashlight. This one is a lot throwier. Look how well it gets out to that mountain out there. Really impressive spotlight, but still so bright that it lights up this entire field. Amazing flashlight. Finally, we have the MS32, which is kind of the same design, but just bigger and even more powerful. So this is 200,000 lumens. Just absolutely insane, this thing. It's so cool. It's also so heavy. Oh, it hurts my arm to hold, but man, it's so impressive. Okay. So right out of the gate, if you're just looking at these and you want the brightest, that would be this guy. It's the brightest by a significant margin. However, even the dimmest is, I mean, insanely bright. 65,000 lumens is an incredible amount of light. So all of these are very, very impressive in terms of their output. But the thing is, it's not possible to sustain that much light for very long at all, both because of the hit that it takes to your batteries, but even more significantly, the heat that it produces. MS-12 Mini has 3 fans, and they can be manually activated by pressing and holding the button from off. When you shake the light, they slow down, so kind of weak motors. X75 just has a single large fan inside the light, can't really see it. It will just react to the temperature inside the light. So activate, deactivate, and ramp RPM depending on the actual temperature. So it will also continue to run even when the light is off, if it's hot enough. Cool. MS-18 has 2 fans, one on either side, and that is a plastic housing. These can be activated with a quadruple press. Very loud. SR32 also has 3 fans around the head, and these can be activated by pressing and holding the button just like the MS-12 Mini. You can see these ones are much quieter. Still a little bit weak though. And the MS32 has the same design, but now the fans are even bigger. And this is a quadruple press to activate again. These fans are the motors are a little bit stronger, so it doesn't slow down as much when you shake it. I just think AceBeam's implementation is way better. It will just turn on the fan when it gets hot, and when it's not hot anymore, the fan will turn off. Brilliant. All of the other emulants are much more basic. Basically, they will just turn on the fan once you hit a certain output level. So here's an example. I turn this flashlight on, and I start ramping up through the modes. Now you can see the fans have turned on. Now if I turn the flashlight off, the fans turn off. This means if I had been using it on that high mode for a long time and then turn it off, the fans will also turn off and it will still be very hot. One last interesting thing AceBeam has done thermally with this flashlight is include the silicone cover. So it's not only a bumper that protects the flashlight, but when it gets really hot, this will actually change colors. So all of that being said, let's get into the actual graphs now. So this is graphing output over time, and we're gonna start with the emulant MS18 because it actually performs the worst here. At turn on, it's gonna start at 100,000 lumens, and it's gonna sag a little bit. That's due to the voltage sag from the battery under load. After step down, you'll see that this flashlight just continues to fall in output until it dies. And it will do that on every output mode. Now the next flashlight emulant released did much better. Despite being dimmer, it does manage to hold its output flat for quite a bit longer. So in terms of actual long-term sustainable usage, this one was more impressive. Next we have the AceBeam X75, and this one is a significant improvement over either of the other two. It runs longer before stepping down. After stepping down, it holds its output, again flat for the whole runtime. It does a much better job. Then we have the emulant SR32. It starts even brighter at 120,000 lumens. It runs for a good long time, and then after step down, competes directly with the X75, again holding more or less a flat output. Very good performance. And finally, the MS32 performs the best, actually by a significant margin, so it's way brighter in the beginning, and then after step down, it's still way brighter than the competition. It sustains about 40,000 lumens, which is incredible, and it holds that for a shockingly long time, and it's flat. The MS32 isn't just the brightest, but it's also the best performer by like a significant margin. This is really, really impressive. The SR32 is also very good, and the X75 comes close. The MS12 Mini doesn't have the greatest battery life, but the fact that it holds its output flat is really nice to see. And again, the MS18 really does not do that well, in comparison at least. For all of these flashlights, you press the button to turn it on, press again to turn it off. While the light is on, if you press and hold, it will cycle through the modes, and then, while either on or off, double tapping will activate turbo, maximum output. The X75 is also a little bit unique because it has a physical lock right here. So when it's down, you can operate the light like normal, but if you want to lock it out, slide it up and these buttons can no longer be pressed. And you can actually lock it while it's on too, which is pretty cool. Finally, there's this button up here at the top, which you can use you can actually deactivate the fan with this, or if you press and hold, it will be momentary turbo. So that's kind of a nice feature. It does have a little indicator here on the side that will show you what your battery level is at. So it's green when you're good, and then it will turn yellow and red when it starts to die. So the MS18, SR32, and MS32 all have OLED screens on the side that give you information about the light. So while it's on, it tells you what the output level is at. If you triple press this one, it will turn the fans on. A quadruple press gives you the voltage, and then 5 quick presses will lock and unlock the light. So when it's locked, you can't operate it. The specific button presses will change between the 3 different lights. The X75 is actually unique among these in that there are 2 battery options. So there's this large extended battery, or just the standard mini battery. Now you can see with the standard battery, it's a lot smaller. It's actually not much bigger now than the MS12 Mini. I like the smaller battery, but I much prefer the bigger one. For one, you get double the runtimes, so that's obviously a lot more practical, but it's also much better balanced The center of balance is now here, and also it adds a second lanyard attachment point here at the back, which is really convenient. Now the MS-12 Mini is the smallest by far, as you can see, and this does include a Velcro belt holster. Now this is still a big heavy flashlight, and I wouldn't exactly call this comfortable. There's a lot of weight here, but you can carry this one on your belt, and it's a lot smaller than the other ones. Now the MS-18 is not especially ergonomic. This one doesn't have a handle, and it's just kind of big and awkward. It's decently well balanced, but the carrying strap that they include is pretty nice. So you attach it up here at this stainless steel bit at the top, and then on the little stainless steel cap on the bottom. And then this becomes a decently easy to carry, comfortable. Knocked my microphone off. So yeah, I feel like this is actually pretty comfortable. This is a nice carrying strap. Good solution. Both the MS-32 and SR-32 come with the exact same strap, which again is a great strap. But the little stainless steel connecty bit broke on my SR-32 strap. This flashlight was just too heavy. And the MS-32 is, even though it doesn't look that much bigger, it's quite a bit bigger, it's a lot heavier. So unfortunately that strap system, not actually very good for these flashlights. The X75 does not include a strap system, so I've used Peak Design's quick detach system that they use. It's not great because the strap attachment point is at the rear of the handle instead of the front. So instead of laying kind of more sideways like these other lights do, it's kind of like top down. This is still my favorite flashlight to carry for a variety of reasons, but I just wish that this attachment point had been at the front of the handle instead of back here. All of these, except for the SR-32, use the same LEDs, Cree XHP70s, which means they're all going to produce very floody, cool white low CRI beams. None of these flashlights have particularly good looking beams. They're fine. They're not great. The MS-12 Mini is the floodiest, followed by the X75. They're pretty close. The MS-18 is a fair bit throwier, and the MS-32 is actually a little bit floodier than the MS-18, but it's way brighter, so the light still goes further. But these are all floodlights except for the SR-32. It has Cree XHP50 emitters, so these are gonna throw a lot more, which means that if you want to see something at a distance, this is the best option. It does punch out the furthest. And for that reason, I actually like this beam, the most from the SR-32. Charging these flashlights is pretty much the same for all of them. So the emblets have this little stainless steel thing at the end of the barrel. Now, the MS-18 and the MS-12 Mini have a proprietary barrel jack, which I really dislike, but the other newer ones have USB-C ports. And then the X75 is also actually pretty much the same. It's got this blind cap here at the top, and then there is a USB-C port right here. I don't like this quite as much because it's in the thread, so it's just asking to get all like gunked up with silicone and dirt and whatever when you're screwing this on and off. One nice thing about this though is it does function as a power bank. And these three USB-C lights, they all have fast charging. And one interesting thing about the X75 is because the battery has fast charging, if you have two of these, 9,000 lumens is the level at which this will drain at the same rate the other one charges. So if you have two of these batteries, you can have basically an indefinite 9,000 lumens of output. Kind of cool. Conveniently, these are also arranged from least to most expensive. So MS-12 Mini is about $420. The X75 with the short battery is also about $420. The extended battery is an additional $180. The MS-18 now, I believe it's $650, although you can probably get it on sale for less because it's an older model. The SR-32 is $680, and the MS-32 is $750. So all of these are very expensive flashlights. I do think of the bunch, the X75, SR-32, and MS-32, kind of repeat this a lot, they're my favorite. I also think they represent the best value when you consider their build quality, feature set, and performance. All right, so you made it to the end of the video. What are my recommendations? What should you buy? I don't think you should buy the MS-18. I think that this one is just outdated and inferior now. The build quality is not as good. You've got plastic fan housing. It's got the barrel charger, not a fan of that. Online, there's people who talk about issues with reliability, with overheating, build quality issues. I haven't had many issues except for the button. Sometimes it does not respond very well properly when I use it. And then in terms of performance, this one is, again, clearly inferior to the competition. So considering this is still over $600, I don't think you should buy this flashlight in 2024. If you have it, I don't necessarily think you need to upgrade, but I don't think you should buy it. MS-12 Mini. Now, this one has a few things that just annoy me, like the button is really hard to find in the dark on this flashlight. The cooling system, the fact that it doesn't react to the temperature is kind of a problem, means it could potentially overheat. And then I also don't like that this one has the barrel charger as well. So considering how expensive this flashlight is, it's over $400. I think there's too many compromises made when the AceBeam X75, again, you can get it with the small battery. It will be just a little bit bigger, but it performs much better. It's a much better design. It's much more durable. I just think this is the easy winner between all three of these. And of the whole bunch, this is my favorite light. It is by far the most used. I actually use this a lot. I really like this light. It's very durable, very well designed, very reliable. It's great. I can't sing the praises of this guy enough. The SR32 is my second favorite. I really like how throwy this is, and I like how insanely bright it is. It's so cool. And then the MS32, I mean, it's just the same, but bigger. Because it's bigger, I'm much less inclined to actually take it with me places because it's just really heavy. And yes, it's way brighter than any of these, but like, they're all so bright, it's kind of irrelevant to me. Yeah, the MS32 is probably the coolest of the bunch. And if you're just looking for like something to show off, then this is the one. But for practicality, it's definitely these two, in my opinion. Really, this one is my go-to. Now, I'm not being paid to say anything in particular about any of these flashlights. We have an affiliate partnership with both Immolent and AceBeam, and also Nils Gadgets and some other stores that sell these flashlights. So the MS32 and the MS-12 Mini are both mine. They were sent to me by Immolent. The AceBeam X75 was actually sent to me by Kyle from goodnightgearshop.com. So big shout out to him. I really appreciate him sending this to me. And then the big battery, the extended battery, was actually sent to me by AceBeam. So coming from two different sources here. The MS-18 and SR32 both belong to Matt. So I'm going to link all of these down in the description. They will be affiliate links, and I will link the respective outlets that actually sent the flashlights. So just to respect the people who sent these. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoy your time with these flashlights, and good lucks.